Why are some of the best books to read also some of the most difficult books to read? In today's video, I am going to tell you why. And I am also going to give you some advice that I used to give to the undergraduate students that I taught at Johns Hopkins University. And I'm going to do this in order to help you conquer each and every book that you pick up from this point onward. So let's begin with a quote. The person who does not read good books is no better than the person who can't. I'm starting today's video with this quote because I am a firm believer that reading difficult books is made easier when we are careful and considerate about the mindset that we approach a book with or a text with. And I think this Mark Twain quote indirectly communicates the objective value of reading difficult books. Once you understand the value that reading a difficult but worthy book can offer you, the pain of sinking your teeth into it is made slightly more bearable. Which brings me to my first tip. Negotiate with yourself. Meaning, among other things, create a plan of attack that is tailored to your interest and difficulty tolerance. This can look like setting aside 15 or 20 minutes a day to chip away at the difficult text that you're trying to tackle. My point is pace yourself. Negotiate with yourself. Believe it or not, it is okay to read slowly. If you pick up Ulysses, for example, link to the Gabler in the description. Ulysses is arguably one of the most difficult books ever written in English. Don't expect to read 100 pages or more in a single sitting with a high comprehension rate. Different books should be read differently. The first step to consistently working through difficult book after difficult book is understanding and accepting the temporal implications. Hopefully I am making sense. My mention of the time investment that reading difficult books requires leads me to my second tip for reading difficult books. And I will say from the start that this method is a personal favorite of mine. I've talked about it at great lengths on this channel. Forgive me, my dear viewer, while I shamelessly plug a playlist that I've put together over the course of the last year. I'm talking about starting a Commonplace book, a bullet journal, a writer's journal. Dedicate a notebook to the difficult books you read. Really, I think you should dedicate a notebook to recording your responses to every book that you read. And I say that because when I was in graduate school, I had a professor, an incredible writer and teacher, Jean McGarry, who said during a seminar that one of the best ways to get the absolute most out of the books that we read is to write about our impressions as we work through the text. My point is that reading and writing go together like peanut butter and jelly. Reading is like inhaling, writing is like exhaling. When we read, we bring in new information. When we write, we send out new information. Writing is a more sophisticated form of thinking because in order to write, we have to consider every word that will allow us to clearly communicate an idea. So keep a Commonplace book. Tether a writing habit to your reading habit, to your reading of a difficult book, because a writing habit will offer you the necessary space to digest the difficult book, to process and understand the text before you. I personally recommend that you read and annotate and then look back on what you read and what you wrote down on the page, if you're into writing on the pages, and then record your thoughts in a Commonplace book. But if you want to write in your Commonplace book as you read, I say go for it. It'll just take longer. And I'm trying to save you time. And that's why we're moving on to tip number 3. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 is simple. Don't be afraid of rereading. If the difficult book is worth its salt, it will reward you for every rereading. My undergraduate advisor at the University of Wisconsin once told me that we never read the same book twice. And I think that that's as true about the books that we reread as it is about the chapters, the scenes, the paragraphs, the sentences, etc., that we reread. My point is this: if you're reading some famed, difficult book, In Search of Lost Time, Ulysses, Infinite Jest, The Sound and the Fury, War and Peace, these books and books like them reward rereading. And they do that because their authors wanted you to return to the text. What's important is that you don't consider rereading a waste of time. Consider how many forms of entertainment would put you to sleep if you had to revisit them. TV shows, movies, YouTube videos. Difficult books are often, although admittedly not always, masterfully crafted. The ability to reread a text or a portion of a text, which you might not have fully understood the first time around, is a gift which I believe is almost exclusively unique to books. But what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll check out this playlist, which basically has every good video that I have ever made on the subject of reading in it. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you will smash like, slap sub, and have a great rest of your day. And as always, I will see you next time.